All right, everyone, let's get right into it. We had a ton of requests for this deep dive. And, well, it's a bit of a spicy one.
Yeah.
So we're going to be diving into how to truly satisfy a woman in bed.
Okay.
We're taking a look at this podcast. It's called Real Talk Relationships.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah. And their host, I think her name's like...
I think it's Your Name. Yeah.
Yeah. Your Name. She's great. She really cuts through all the BS and just lays it all out there. No gimmicks, just real, genuine advice on building a strong connection. And I think that's really what we're all looking for, right? Like, how do we connect with our partners on a deeper level?
Absolutely. And when it comes to intimacy, that genuine connection, that spark, it all starts with communication.
Yeah, communication is key, right? Like, that's what they emphasize in Real Talk Relationships. You got to be able to talk to each other. And not just talk, but really listen, Active listening. It's about being present, understanding your partner's needs, and responding to them. And desires too, right? Like what turns her on, what she enjoys. In the podcast, they suggest asking open-ended questions. Things like, what feels amazing right now? Or is there anything you'd like to try? I mean, that takes courage.
It does, but it creates such a safe space for exploration and intimacy. It shows you care and that you're willing to put her needs first.
And it's not always about the words either. Sometimes it's about those nonverbal cues. Paying attention to her body language.
Oh, exactly. Those subtle shifts, a gasp, a sigh, a change in her breathing. Those can tell you so much more than words sometimes.
It's about tuning into her, right? And that actually brings up another point that Real Talk Relationships made. Great intimacy doesn't just magically happen in the bedroom. It starts way before that.
It's about cultivating that emotional intimacy throughout the day. Little things like leaving her a sweet note, surprising her with her favorite coffee, really listening when she talks about her day.
Yeah, and date nights, like actually making time for each other, putting away your phones and just connecting.
It's about showing her you cherish her, that you see her and appreciate her for who she is. And that translates into a deeper physical connection.
So true. Okay, this next part, I'm a little excited about this. Foreplay.
Oh, yeah.
Real Talk Relationships had me like, yes, preach. They basically said that for many women, foreplay isn't just the warm-up act, it's the main event. It's about creating an experience, building anticipation, teasing, tantalizing.
And from a physiological standpoint, it makes sense. Women's arousal often builds gradually. It's not like flipping a switch.
Right. And they had this amazing suggestion. They called it feather touch.
Oh, yeah, feather touch.
Ever heard of this?
I have. It's where you just use the very tips of your fingers and lightly graze her skin, exploring different areas of her body. Just that light touch can send shivers down her spine.
Wow. And it's about building that anticipation. Slow, sensual kisses, whispering compliments in her ear, taking the time to explore beyond the typical erogenous zones.
It's treating foreplay as an art form, really savoring each moment and creating a shared experience.
Okay, now this is where I get a little, I don't know, maybe it's just me. They talk a lot about prioritizing her pleasure.
Yeah.
And I get that, I do. It's important to make her feel good. But sometimes it feels like so much pressure. Like, what if I'm not performing well enough?
Yeah.
Like it's a performance instead of just enjoying the moment.
I think a lot of people feel that way. We have these societal pressures and expectations that can really get in the way of genuine pleasure.
Exactly. But Real Talk Relationship says, forget all that. Let go of the pressure, the performance anxiety. It's not about that. It's about connecting with your partner, exploring together, and finding what feels good for both of you.
And communication is crucial here. Encourage her to guide you, to tell you what she likes, what feels amazing.
Right, like don't be afraid to ask. And they even talk about incorporating toys or sensual massage.
Yeah, if that's something you're both comfortable with, it's about expanding your horizons, finding new ways to pleasure each other.
Now, this is something they were super clear about, and I think it's so important to emphasize. Consent and comfort. These are non-negotiables.
Absolutely. It needs to be enthusiastic consent, and it needs to be ongoing throughout the entire experience.
And Real Talk Relationships goes beyond the typical yes means yes. They talk about checking in with your partner regularly.
Right, like asking, is this still good, or do you want to try something different?
It's about making sure she feels safe and empowered to voice her needs and desires at any moment.
And creating that judgment-free zone where you can both truly relax and enjoy the experience.
So true. And they really hammer home the point that comfort is the foundation for true satisfaction.
It's about being present, being attentive, being responsive to your partner's cues, both verbal and nonverbal.
And I think that's such a powerful message. It's not just about the physical act, it's about the emotional connection, the trust, the respect.
And it makes you think, if we can bring that level of communication, that respect, that desire to please to the bedroom, what if we brought that same energy to all aspects of our relationships? How much stronger would our connections be?
That's a really great question to think about. And for everyone listening, you're already ahead of the game just by being here, by wanting to learn, to grow, to make your partner feel amazing.
Exactly.
So keep exploring, keep communicating, and remember, the most important thing is that you're having fun and enjoying the journey together.
Couldn't have said it better myself.